Oh man, I sure love hanging out at the beach. The water's clear and the sand goes on forever. Sure is hot though. Good thing I brought water.
Good day, young man. I see you've got a plastic bottle here at the beach. You aren't planning to dispose of it improperly, are you?
Huh? Well, what are you talking about? I was just a little thirsty. But of course, I'll toss it in the bin. I never just leave it on the beach. Wouldn't want it getting in the water. Ha!
Well, that's a relief. But you know, boy, even throwing it in the garbage bin isn't enough to prevent the spread of microplastics.
Microplastics. What's that?
You see, microplastics are extremely small pieces of plastic debris in the environment resulting from the disposal and breakdown of consumer products and industrial waste. The actual plastic that you find in the ocean can be of any size, but plastics that are only millimeters in size or even smaller than that are considered microplastics. The smallest microplastics are particularly terrible since they are virtually invisible to the eye and find themselves being transported to all kinds of environments since they can be consumed without the consumer ever even noticing.
Wait, but what does this have to do with me? I wasn't planning to throw this bottle into the ocean or anything, I promise.
If only using the garbage bin was all it took. You see, plastics are particularly hard to dispose of since they do not degrade easily, so even though all of the garbage should be ending up in the ground, a great deal of it either washes up into the ocean when rain carries it off, or it is simply dumped into the water illegally. Of course, littering on the beach is also a great contributor, which is why styrofoam plates and cups as well as plastic straws are being outlawed in many areas.
I see. So you weren't lying about it not making any difference whether I threw it in the trash or not. This stuff is pretty depressing, but what's it got to do with me anyway? I mean, I don't mean to sound insensitive, but it sounds to me like there's a lot of plastic floating around out there that we have to fish back up. I'm not drinking ocean water, so surely I'm not consuming any of that.
Well, actually, taking a look at this chart on biomagnification shows the issue right away. Biomagnification is the principle that a small amount of some toxin being consumed by many members of a species low on the food chain can lead to a large amount of it being consumed by members higher up on the food chain. So in essence, if 30 bluegills consume some amount of microplastics, and a couple of larger fish like bass eat those bluegills, by eating just one or two bass, you are consuming 30 or 40 times the amount of microplastics one bluegill consumed.
What? No way. But it makes total sense. If the fish are swimming around in water filled with these microplastics, and we eat the fish, we're gonna be exposed to it just as much as they're.
And it doesn't end at fish. If a seagull, for example, were to die on land and be eaten by the creatures of the land, or even if it were to fertilize the shores with its excrement, there's a transfer of those ocean microplastics to the terrestrial environments.
That's awful. But hey, my water is 100% purified. It says so on the label. So all I gotta do is make sure I stay away from fish, and there's no way I'll get any of those microplastics in me.
Well, you see, studies show that a majority of the world's tap water does contain microplastics, and bottled water is no different. Research has shown that most major bottled water brands also contain microplastics, despite the water being purified and sealed.
What? That's just crazy. Is there no hope left? If even the water I was drinking right now has microplastics in it, then we're all doomed to meet a horrible fate sooner than later, aren't we?
Now, don't fret. According to the World Health Organization, such small doses of microplastics such as those found in most of our drinking water does not affect us in the slightest, at least according to current research. So while it is an uncomfortable bit of knowledge, you can continue to drink your water as you should. Although I must mention, drinking from plastic bottles has its own downside, as there is a plethora of chemicals within the bottle itself that can contaminate the water. As such, it would be a wise idea to use reusable hard plastic bottles, or even glass or metal bottles that you fill at home.
I see. And I imagine that these chemicals are what make ocean-bound microplastics especially dangerous when compared to the stuff we might find in our water taps.
Precisely.
So, I guess it's some solace that our water is safe, but our food is still getting crazy doses of microplastics, and our beaches are beginning to look apocalyptic too.
Well, don't look so gloomy. Look around you. The water is still clear and the sand is still clean at this beach. The world isn't beyond repair.
Hey, you're right. Instead of sulking, we gotta look at the bright side. What can we do to keep things this way?
Well, for starters, to stop plastic from getting a chance to reach the ocean, always recycle if you can. Even if one bottle feels inconsequential, one bottle from every person in this city alone is already almost 500,000. And to directly support the removal of plastics from the ocean, you can purchase products with this label on them. If we source our plastic bottles with plastic from the ocean, eventually we can eliminate all that harmful pollution.
Yeah, that's great. I think I've got a couple of bottles of Windex at home with that label.
Tremendous! You can even help the effort directly by either joining or donating to one of these organizations. These are groups of people that want to prevent further degradation of our natural environments and even restore it to how it should be. You can join a cleanup effort and take litter and washed up garbage off the beach, or you can finance their operations and rest easy knowing you're contributing to the cause, even if you don't have the time or resources to go out there yourself.
Hey, so there really is a lot I can do about this issue. That's it, I'm feeling pumped up. I'm gonna go make sure to tell everyone about what you've just told me. Thanks a lot, sir.
Anytime. Consider these acts are a thanks to the Earth for being such a goodly home to us all.
Yeah,